Their fault.
Okay. All right. Welcome everyone to the North Shore Fire Department Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, the 21st. And you know what? I think I have the wrong agenda out here. So excuse me for just a second. I'm going to have to grab it up, but we can start roll call while I'm doing that. Go ahead with roll call, please.
Good evening, Commissioner Admin,
Here.
Commissioner Pratt,
Present.
Commissioner Byers,
Here.
Commissioner Webster,
Here.
Commissioner Marin,
Present.
Chief McDonald.
Here.
I don't see
Okay.
Chief Morris. Legal Counsel Matt Paxton,
Here.
Lisa Woolham. Lake Forest, oh, hi Lisa, thank you. Lake Forest Park Council Member Philippa Cassover.
Here.
And I got an email from Nigel Herbig that he was unavailable, and I'm Board Secretary Amy Oakley.
All right. Thank you. So we'll open up to public comment next.
I did not receive any written public requests, but I see Mike D has his hand raised. Mr. D, you'll have 3 minutes to make your comments.
Thank you. Mike D with the Lake Forest Park Citizens Commission. Sorry, I'm on a noisy bus. Sorry about the background noise. I wanted to remind people that there's a need for severe weather shelters to be open. Shoreline has theirs and they plan to open it activate it on December 25th if the conditions continue to go as predicted. But they're one of the only shelters that I know around, with the exception of maybe Bitter Lake opening up and also Garfield Community Center. So I want to encourage cities to make sure that they have severe weather shelter plans. And then one quick thing on the Open Public Meetings Act kind of stuff is I encourage you to open up the meeting as soon as you have at least 2 commissioners on board, because when you have 3, then it becomes a meeting. And if we're on the waiting room, stuff can happen, not that it's going to, but can happen before everybody's in the meeting. It also gives us a chance to test our audio and make sure things are working and stuff like that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Our next public comment is from iPad. I'm not sure who that is. If you want to introduce yourself, and then you have 3 minutes to make your comments.
Thank you. Stacy Valenzuela Kenmore. Sorry, I
Hi, Stacy.
reset my system and now it's called iPad. It won't stick. So I wanted to make sure on a couple things. One was on the timeline. I'm not sure if you had contacted the city council for Lake Forest Park and Kenmore to make sure that those dates work for them. I think the February date is probably a pretty good date for having the public hearing. And I'm hoping that we are able to move forward and work through a lot of this stuff with the new board. Also, I wanted to mention, I know the firefighters in the past years, except for this last one, have also through Northshore Senior Center organizing come out to the senior mobile home parks and helped with snow if we get a lot of snow off the roofs, as well as walkways for the seniors. And I know that last year I had to call in about the walkway just down the street from the fire station, that a lot of the public as well as seniors were slipping and sliding because the driveway into that mobile home park was not cleared off, but there's a water runoff that comes down there that makes it a really messy site. So those things would also be great if we're able to be in contact with somebody to keep an eye on that. And hopefully we'll all make it safely through this little snow bump. But thank you very much. And happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is approval of the meeting agenda. If there's any comments before we do that? All right, can I get a motion to accept the agenda? Commissioner Marin, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to, maybe it's included in the discussion of the timeline, but I would like to have an opportunity to discuss the contract proposals and evaluation process.
Okay, discussion time. Okay, I guess we can put it into that 5.3 unless anybody has a,
I think it's included in 5.3. It says discussion on the timeline and decision process.
okay, good. All right,
Good. So I'll move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, so it approves unanimously. So now we have executive session. And Amy, I think we'll do 20 minutes with this one to start off with. And if you'll read the language, please.
Yes, we are going to move into executive session for 20 minutes pursuant to RCW 42.30.1404 to discuss collective bargaining, pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101G to discuss the performance of an employee, and pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I to discuss with legal counsel potential litigations. It is 5:06. I'll go ahead and pause the recording and create a breakout room. Thank you.
Commissioner Webster, Chief McDonald.
We technically have a half a minute yet, so I will hold on here. Thank you. We're back from executive session, and I want to take just a moment to say thank you to Chief McDonald for his service to our department over some really tough times, and he is leaving us at the end of the year. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, Chief. And I'll open the floor to anybody else if they have any comments.
This is Commissioner Marin. I just want to reiterate my thanks. He stuck with the program the entire way. I appreciate that. He found solutions to problems that people thought there weren't solutions available. And I wish him the best as he moves on over to Eastside Fire and Rescue.
Thank you again, Chief. Okay,
Thank you again, everybody. It was a pleasure to serve, and I wish you all the best and happy holidays.
thank you. All right. So we're going to move on to the next item 5, which is board discussion and possible action items. Item 5.1, I received word that Local 2459 has no comments at this time, so I appreciate the input. 5.2, next item is contract for services update. And before we move into that, we had a couple of things come up at executive session, and I need to bring those up at this time. One is the get approval for the board's approval for the ILA for fire marshal services from Shoreline. So I want to open up for discussion of that and get see if we can get a motion to approve. So any discussion from board members? Commissioner Pratt.
Thanks, Commissioner Webster. I just move that we approve the proposed ILA for fire marshal services with Shoreline Fire.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the ILA for fire marshal services from Shoreline. Any discussion? All right, we'll go for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 It goes through unanimously. The other item that came up in executive session was approval of the negotiations with the local on the proposed negotiations, the way it went through, and I'll open the board for discussion on that. So I'm looking to see if we get a motion to accept the negotiation approved by the board. Go ahead, Commissioner Pratt, please.
I would move that we accept and sign the proposed contract with Local 2459.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposal contract with the local. Any discussion at this time? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, it's unanimous, so I'll clear that up. Now, thank you for patience, everybody, for finishing up those two items. So now we move back to 5.2, contract for services update. And at this time, let's see, I think we also have timelines and stuff. I don't know if we have anything specifically on this item. Does any commissioner have anything that they want to discuss on this item? So our next item is discussion on timeline and discussion of process for the contract. So do we want to just move to the next item then? Okay, which we will do. Moving to 5.3, discussion on the timeline and decision process for contract for services. So we have earlier timeline for deciding a contract agency. I think that's Commissioner Admin. You want to jump in on that?
Sure, yeah, if I can just start the discussion off here. Basically, I put together a potential timeline that I shared at our prior meeting, which was, I essentially just tried to put together what I thought would be a reasonable process with the steps that I think we needed to go through with and a time frame. And then subsequently heard from various individuals, including Commissioner Marin, that probably a more rapid time frame would be better. And so I put together a new schedule. I don't know if we want to even look at the other one that I put together, but basically I emailed out this subsequent schedule. And this is just the only thing that created this is I just looked at when our meetings were going to take place, when Lake Forest Park City Council meetings would be taking place. I did reach out to Deputy Mayor Philippa Cassover and Deputy Mayor Nigel Herbig, both to kind of find out when those councils when it would be a suitable time for us to be able to make a presentation to them. And they gave me some options. So I included that in this time frame. And
Eric, can I interrupt for just a second?
Sure.
Amy, can you put that one up on the board, please? That everybody can see it. It'll be better. So everybody will see what we're talking about. Thank you. All right, Eric, sorry about the interruption.
Sure, no problem. So I'll just kind of walk through it. So again, this is just for discussion purposes, the steps that I thought if people have other thoughts on the appropriate time frame or the steps that we need to take, or if I left a step out, let me know. But so on the schedule I have this evening, that we adopt a schedule that at our first regular meeting that we go through the proposals that we received based on the criteria that's on our website, and that we discuss a couple of outstanding issues that we'll need to resolve before we engage in the contract, which are our policy on fee for transport, whether we want to potentially go to a reduced aid car staffing level or an increased aid car staffing level. So i.e., we had one proposal with an option of dropping aid 151 down to a peak hour only unit. We had another proposal with a possibility of adding a peak hour aid car at station 57. So discuss that issue. And also an outstanding issue that needs to be resolved is the proposals, just to be comparable, did not include the contracting agency taking over all the administration staff. So I think we need to have a discussion on that philosophically, what we want to do with that issue. So that would be that January 4th session. We'd be going through that. Subsequently, our next regular meeting would be an open house where we just kind of summarize where we are, what our recommendations are, what we're thinking about, and accept public input. And then based on that, hopefully come to some kind of a consensus on the direction that we're going. present that to successively to Lake Forest Park and Kenmore City Council, so they have an opportunity to understand what we're planning and give us their feedback. And then at our first regular meeting in February, publicly discuss that input that we've received from both the public, the city councils, formalize our recommendation, make notifications, and then establish a target date for implementing the contract. So that's basically the schedule that I laid out. And I just wanted to put something on paper so we have something to discuss that is a potential schedule.
All right. So it looks like it works for me. Is there any discussion we want to put up here or talk about? And I can't see, but only 4 people. So there we go. So, okay, Commissioner Marin, please.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that I'm not quite sure what conversation Eric's referring to when I asked him to accelerate the process. I did it at some of our last meetings, suggested the board could make the decision immediately to avoid having to promote an interim fire chief and secure interim fire marshal services. But I actually think that if you're going to do this the right way, now that you've got those in place, that you need to take a little bit more time. There's been virtually no discussion about the advantages and the risks presented in the proposals. And I think the board really needs to take a look at the impacts on those. I've provided 2 documents to our board secretary for attachment to tonight's meeting minutes. I'm not going to read them in their entirety. The one is I used our selection criteria document from the website and provided my input, what I thought on those, and hopefully the board finds that helpful. Regarding the process to identify the contracting agency, we've heard a lot from our own local 2459, and there's certainly stakeholders in this. We've heard a lot from the Shoreline Labor Group and from the, but we've heard nothing from Eastside Fire and Rescue. We've made no efforts to, in one of our criteria is to determine the satisfaction that the customers for Eastside Fire and Shoreline Fire have with the service being provided. We've done no outreach on that. I just think that if you're going to be fair to the process, there's a bit more work to be done than this schedule allows for.
All right, floor is open. Any more discussion? What we want to do? So, okay, Commissioner Pratt.
I would agree with Commissioner Marin that we need to use the criteria that we established last August for our decision-making process. But I think that the 2 new commissioners, having been involved, can use all the data that is available to them on our website, all the research that we've done, all the input we've received, and then we can, in our first meeting as part of that decision-making process, kind of work through that. And if they need more time, they need more time. If we decide that we need to do more outreach and more communication, we can always adjust that. But I like the accelerated timeline. I like making the decision by February with the goal of a March 1 implementation. Initially, I thought that maybe April 1 at the end of the first quarter would be the right time. But, if we make that decision in February, that gives us 2 months to make all the negotiations that we need to, because it could be a challenging process. It might go smoothly, but it could be very well could be challenging. And if we've got 2 months before the end of quarter 1 to make that happen, the more time, the better.
Commissioner Marin.
Yeah, I just have one final comment. As I went through the proposals and recalled the discussion we had with our legal counsel, I think you'll find it in the documents I present to you that there's quite a few components of a contract with the agency that should be included to assure that the risks are minimized. And I would encourage you to spend some significant time in your discussions talking about those contract components that we need to put in there.
Any other discussion on this? So do we want to have a motion to accept this timeline? Commissioner Admin.
I'll move that we accept the proposed time frame for deciding on a contract agency.
Okay.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to accept this timeline. Any discussion? All right, let's put it to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Those not in favor? Nay?
Commissioner Mayor, and nay, I just think it's too condensed and it can't be a complete fair process. So thank you.
All right, it passes 4-1 with 1 nay from Commissioner Mayor. Okay. So any other discussion on timeline or decision-making process? All right, going to move to 5.4. King County Fire District budget items. And I believe we have a line item for that. And then Commissioner Marion, this is the one that we need to have budget items for the board that will be separate from the contracting agency. Is this not correct?
Right. And so when Northshore
Excuse me
Fire,
for just a second. Amy, can you put that up on the board, please?
I will, and just one thing, I will, if you want, go ahead and update the website with these new dates
Yes, we can do
for the
that.
contract for service.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. But, all right, so Commissioner Marion, let her get that up on the board and then you
Okay.
can proceed, please. All right, thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Marion.
okay, so I was, when Northshore becomes a contract agency, the agency providing the contract services will take over most of the work of running the fire department. But there still will be a King County Fire District 16 that exists for the purposes of collecting revenue, for addressing certain legal questions, providing insurance for board members and employing the secretary. And so what I was asked to do is provide a list of those budget items that I was aware of that might be included in that process. A few of these could be included as part of the contract for services. For example, we talked about processing of left one medical claims could be part of the contract for services. Others are things that we would do on our own. Processing of vouchers, you'll have to figure out how that goes. The list may not be 100% inclusive, and I would ask our counsel Paxton to take a look at that and see if we've missed some things. But my hope is it's a good start for the board to begin developing a standalone smaller King County Fire District 16 budget.
All right. Any questions on this from anybody? And again, I can't see the board, so. Yeah. I think it's a pretty good list. I went through this the other day and I didn't see anything that you missed. I think it's pretty clear. Good starting place like you put in. Any comments from the board members? Commissioner Byers, go ahead.
I was just hoping that if we get a copy of that sent to us to look
I
over.
think it's part of your agenda item. You should be able,
Thank you.
you should have been able to print it out. Get a hold of our board secretary and she'll tell you how to get it, work through it, and get to the items.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other discussion on this? I would like to, Amy, let's carry this as a line item for I think we won't need it on the January 7th meeting. I believe that's our January 4th meeting, but it'll be, let's hold it for the second meeting in January. I think we'll have more than enough to do on that first meeting of the year. So, okay. Any other comments on this item? And thank you, Commissioner Marin, for putting that together. It was some work involved, I know. 5.5. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say thanks to Commissioner Marin for putting that together. His institutional knowledge going forward is gonna be missed. So it's good to have that stuff written down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish you guys the best.
Thank you. 5.5, discussion of North Shore Fire Department operations and administration activities. That was put on the board. Any of the board members have comment on that item? I think it's a carryover from something in our previous meeting. I don't have any notes.
I feel like that was pretty well addressed in the list of things that Commissioner Marin produced. And that kind of what that was getting at. It was a concern of Commissioner Curtis. And I think that's the list that Commissioner Marin put together addresses most of that.
Thank you. All right. So we'll move on to the next item, 5.6, which is new board member training. And so I'll open it. Commissioner Admin, you had that item and I think it's important. So go ahead.
Yeah, just with some new members on our board and as a good refresher for all of us, I just thought there was some training that would be a good idea for us to go through. I became aware of some training just on conduct of meetings, the Robert's Rules, so-called, that there's a local authority on that who's delivering training to Lake Forest Park and Kenmore city councils. They have a session on Lake Forest Park City Council has a session on January 8th for them. And this person, her name is Ann McFarland, who's an instructor with that. I forwarded an email to the board, but it sounds like she's available probably February, March, April timeframe. So I think that would be a good thing to include in our training. I think there's some other components. Lisa Woolham mentioned to me that someone had shared some resources with her for some new fire commissioner training that's coming up that she's aware of. I think legal counsel Paxton has some standard training that he probably already has planned, or just some legal type training. So I thought it would just be, we might start thinking about what we want to do and how we want to schedule that for our new commissioners. And I just wanted to put that topic out there.
I think it's a good topic. As the chair, I think it'd be really good to get a set up where we have our council commissioners all together and do a get together and learn about Robert's Rules. But I think it'd be a good work group session for just our commissioners with this trainer, and kind of, I think it'd make the commission a lot closer by doing that than joining another city or another object. I think it's better to do it on our own and make it a building type situation. So so after we get, can we put this on the agenda? If everybody doesn't mind, put it on the second one in January, and then we can, after everybody's sworn in, and we can look at our times and set up a date for a workshop for this. Is any problem? Commissioner Marin.
I would just remind the board that we have a policy, I think it's 1114, that addresses new commissioner orientation. And there's a checklist in there of items that board member needs to complete. And if we could send that to our new board members, and I'm not sure who will be coordinating that training right now, but it's a good list.
Okay. All right. I think when I first came on, I believe council had started off with all the legal training that we've got to start off with. That was the first training I had. And then I can't remember who walked through it, but we had training. So we need to look at that. So I was going to set that up that for the January, second meeting in January, that we set up a time for discuss and set up a time to have a workshop. Put that on our second meeting. So, okay.
I don't know if you see that Lisa Wallum has her.
I
hand
just saw that. Yeah. So go ahead, Ms. Wallum.
So in doing some research, the King County Fire Commissioners Association has a class on January 8th, and it's called Fire Commissioner 101. And so I was thinking that might be great for Tyler and I. I don't know if you guys have already taken that class, but I thought it would be a good overview. It's just coming up really quickly. And so I guess I would want to know if we have funds for something like that, and if we could jump in as quickly as that.
Commissioner Marin.
Yeah, so history, we do have funds for that, and you're doing the right thing by requesting to attend the training. The board simply needs to approve training, and I think the policy says shall not be unreasonably withheld, and certainly this is a positive thing to do. So I'd encourage the board to authorize their attendance.
Okay. So, and then usually what we did, like on our workshops that we had, you would attend and then turn in your fees to admin and get reimbursed. That's the way it was in the past. I believe that's how we do that. So, but on that same note, I'd accept a motion that we allow our two new commissioners to sign up for that meeting and cover the funds. So, Commissioner Admin.
Before we make that motion, I guess my only question would be, would any of our other commissioners benefit from that, despite the fact that they're not brand new? It might be a good thing for others to take as well.
I was going to suggest the same, that we just approve any current board members or future board members that would like to attend.
That's good. So all I need is a motion then. Commissioner Marin first.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve and encourage commissioners attending the King County Fire Commissioners 101 orientation class. And
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Oh, excuse me.
Commissioner Marin, I would just say that if there's fees for this class, if they submit them, I believe if they submit them to our finance specialist, those fees can be paid in advance directly to King County Fire Commissioners. You won't have to go through the whole reimbursement process. So it'll be a little less painful that way.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous. Okay. Any other discussion on new member training? Commissioner Admin.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to put this on our January 18th meeting. I guess I'd be willing to do some communication and some legwork as part of a subcommittee with somebody else ideally as a subcommittee with somebody else to just kind of compile what we think, sort of a plan for our new commissioner training that we could talk about at our January 18th. And maybe all it is this Fire Commissioner 101, Robert's rules, but whatever Council Paxton has, I guess, just sort of put together a list and maybe go over that policy that Commissioner Marin talked about.
All right. Not a bad idea. Anybody want to jump on with Commissioner Admin on the subcommittee? I'm assuming you want to be on that subcommittee, Commissioner Admin.
I would suggest one of the new members be a part of that.
I see Lisa raising her hand.
All right.
Eric, I would be happy to do that with you if that's okay.
I think that would be just fine.
All right. So, all right. Okay. Do we need to vote still here? All right. So all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Okay. Passes unanimously. All right, I believe that's it for new member discussion. I don't see anybody's hands up, so we're moving to item 6 is board resolutions. There's none at this time. Item 7 is consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay,
Second,
get a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Admin seconds. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so passes unanimously. All right, we're moving down to reports. Chief McDonald is not here, but he did send out the chief's report for everybody to review. Does anybody have any comments from his report? All right, we'll move to the next item is commissioner reports. Any commissioner reports at this time? All right, and legal report. Councilor Pax.
Thank you and good evening, board. I don't have a specific legal report today, but I did want to just send a thank you and congratulations to Commissioner Marin. 20 years, it's pretty amazing. I've only been here for a year or so of that, but we wish you the best on your future endeavors.
Thank you.
I also say the same thing. Thank you for everything you've done and all your background. I mean, it shows. Thank you.
Yeah, I will say it. I will say it's been a journey.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Paxton. All right. The next item 9 is upcoming board agenda. And I have 2 items to add. Just to start off with is we will open the meeting like we do. And then the first item after public comment will be swearing in the new commissioners. And the second item will be election of chair. And then I don't know what else you have listed for us.
Yes, so it'll be the selection of the board chair and the vice chair. Does that also
Yes.
change? Okay. I have a note about change to the fire inspector, updating the job description and a review of the contract for service proposals based on the accelerated time frame that was approved.
Excellent. Okay, and any other commissioners have items? And again, you can, if you have some coming up, I'll get with you, Eric. Just send an email into our board secretary and we will discuss about getting it on the board, on the agenda. Go ahead, Commissioner Admin.
Yeah, I'll just say that the adopted schedule lists a little bit more because that Amy could just use that description that's in that schedule to encompass that agenda item, because there's also discussion of fee for transport, aid car staffing level, administration staff. So it's a little bit more than just the comparison of the contracts. It's also in that item.
Okay.
We'll have to break those out as separate items. Okay. Yeah.
And then,
go ahead.
This Commissioner Marin, I would also encourage it. It's not on the schedule, and it wasn't in Commissioner Admin's comments, but I would encourage you to also discuss the kind of interim aid car solution is to put a jump that uses the reserve car we have for Northshore Fire Department as a jump aid car down at Station 57. I think that's a pretty straightforward way to improve the service provision to the community.
Okay. Good. Put that on the board. Okay, any other items to add to the agenda? Okay, last item is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
This Commissioner Marin, I'll move to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All right. Move to second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you so much.
Go Seahawks.
Good evening. Go Hawks. I don't know. All right. Thank you.